Our title this morning, of course, is Thanksgiving. And in honor of that wonderful day this Thursday where we each get to celebrate uniquely in our own way, whether it's with lots of family or just with each other or even by ourselves. I remember one Thanksgiving where it was just my children and me, and I said, you know, Thanksgiving doesn't have to be traditional. We can do whatever we want to. And one shouted out, seafood, and one shouted out, steak, and I said, surf and turf. We're going to have a picnic in the living room on the floor with surf and turf. And we did. And we counted our blessings. So it doesn't matter who we're with or what we're eating. What matters is that we are feeling deeply that sense of thanksgiving. It has been said that thank you is the most complete prayer. And there are many reasons that that is so, that thank you is the most complete prayer, among them being that when we say thank you and truly are thinking those words, not just spouting them rotely, but truly thinking about them, we have brought our attention to that idea of feeling grateful. We have recognized something, someone, some idea, some experience, some feeling for which to be grateful for. And when we recognize it, then we open ourselves up a little bit more to be receptive of it, receptive of that feeling of gratitude, receptive of more good. And so we enter into that stage of acceptance, which leads us to a realization of the good. And in Science of Mind, we think of realization as to make real. So when we have directed our attention and opened our receptivity, we are making real that which we are grateful for, so that we can enjoy more of it.
So you can see it's a spiritual practice of drawing attention to those things which we are seeing coming into our lives, for which we are grateful. It's making an awareness of those things, and it's a recognition of all the good that is flowing to us on a regular basis that we quite often don't notice. Thanksgiving is a spiritual practice. There are two parts of one practice: thanks and giving. It's like the law of circulation. It's the balancing of giving and receiving. Being thankful and being generous are two sides of the same coin. Dennis Merritt Jones says, saying it's more blessed to give than to receive is like saying it's more blessed to exhale than inhale. You know, we all know about the circulatory system in our bodies, and the way we bring in oxygen and we give it to our body and nourish our body with it, and then we pick up carbon dioxide and take it along the route and dump it back out into the universe. So basically, every time we breathe, we are giving and receiving and giving. It's a simple little process, has a lot of little parts, but it's really quite simple. It's a simple little practice. In fact, the body's circulatory system is involuntary. We don't even know that we're doing it. It's automatic. How often do you have to say, I forgot to breathe. I forgot to beat my heart. I forgot to digest my breakfast this morning. What if you had to think about all those things all the time? There's something to be thankful for. It's a lot of parts, but it's a really simple thing. It's really, really simple. Could we make Thanksgiving that automatic? That every good thing that comes to us, we automatically notice it, make attention of it, bring it into awareness, and then recognize it as good from the universe. Eckhart Tolle says, Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it is enough. Now for many of us, that is probably all that we should say. But, as you know me, I have plenty more to say. But before I do, Deborah has something she'd like to say.
Well, actually, Deborah's going to tell you what Ernest Holmes has to say about this. So what he has to say is a little bit lengthy, and it's power-packed with goodness about Thanksgiving. And we will unpack it, but let me share it with you first. Holmes tells us that gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. It is through the grateful heart that we can experience the richness and abundance that life has to offer, as gratitude becomes the key that unlocks the door to greater abundance.
Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence. A beautiful saying. I believe what he's saying is that it's one of the ways we unite our spiritual and human natures. How we recognize that we are living a spiritual life, or this human life, as spiritual beings, and how we balance that out. There's a great story of a young minister who was sent by his bishop to a remote parish to the Cotutal Indians, a First Nations tribe in British Columbia. The Indians did not have a word in their language for thank you, but the minister soon found that these people had exceptional generosity. Instead of saying thanks, it is their custom to return every favor with a favor and every kindness with an equal or greater kindness. So Thanksgiving is not something they take time to remember now and then during the year. It's an actual way of life. They practice their thanks daily in their customs and in their culture. So what if we had no words in our vocabulary for thank you, or gratitude? Would we do a better job of communicating our gratitude by actually living it as a normal part of our life? Would we be more responsive, more sensitive, or more caring? Because we know the world needs that, doesn't it? Holmes says gratitude is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. He's saying that when we practice gratitude, we are uniting our spiritual being with our human experience, bringing us into a heavenly state of being.
And the next words that he says in that quote are, "It is through the grateful heart that we can experience the richness and abundance that life has to offer." So again, I believe he's talking about living in a state of gratitude each and every moment as we live our life. Thinking regularly about the many blessings that we have, because when we activate that thought within our mind, it creates a feeling throughout our entire body and beyond. We are ethereal creatures in source, and so as that, to the degree that we align our consciousness with gratitude, we reap the benefits of greater abundance and recognition of it. And he continues by saying gratitude becomes the key that unlocks the door to greater abundance. So it isn't a matter of going into being grateful. Well, I'm going to be grateful for Aunt Jean, even though she's a pest at Thanksgiving, because I have to put up with her, but the rest of the family I'm good with, so I'm just going to be thankful for her anyway, because then maybe she'll change, or she won't come anymore or something. No, that is not a sense of gratitude. That is, I'll make an agreement with you. I'll like Aunt Jean as long as you give me more greater good. That's not the way it works. It's a law, and law follows its own journey, its own flow. So it's learning and teaching ourselves to be grateful for Aunt Jean, even if she makes us go, ooh, sometimes. Be grateful for the whole picture. Be grateful for everything that's around. Because truly, if Aunt Jean did make her transition this week, how would you feel then? It's not an agreement that we make of God, I'll give you this if you give me that. It's a way of living, a way of thinking about gratitude that expands itself into our life so thoroughly that we just feel that. And suddenly we begin to realize, oh, more and more good is all around me. I have so much more to be thankful for. I asked Google a question this week, and I should have kept the question. I don't know what the question was. I got so excited about the answer. But I did notice, and I know this is a controversial subject, but it came from AI, so whether you're for it or against it, it's a pretty good answer. And what they said to whatever it was I asked was that science of mind is a teaching where gratitude is seen as a powerful tool to attract positive experiences and open you up to receiving more good things. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Smart.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that part of opening us up to more good things. We have this Science of Mind spiritual exercise that we do quite often here. We do it sometimes in classes, and we have done it as a whole group exercise with the congregation. And it's called the Unexpected Income Program, in which we look for and keep track of all the little things that are little blessings that happen to us. And it's primarily a prosperity practice where you make a note of little coins that you find along the sidewalk as you're walking, or when you go to Publix and they have buy one, get one, and say, oh, good. And then we share that with others as well, I don't really need that, but I can give it to somebody else. When we get a little check in the mail or somebody says, well, I borrowed $5 from you a couple months ago and here it is. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. So you make a record of all those things and you recognize the amazing amount of good that's coming into your life that you never thought about. But what if we extended that exercise to non-monetary blessings? What if we included every time somebody opened a door for you, or every time at this time of year when somebody says, yes, you may have that parking space. Like, that's going to happen, but you know it does.
You never know.
You never can tell. Or when you're in a grocery store once again and somebody says, we only have 3 items, go ahead and go in front of me. Those are little acts of kindness that we would probably forget about. We would say thank you, we may smile. But then we begin to look around and we start seeing that those little things do make a difference. When you smile at somebody, it makes a big difference. I noticed this morning, I was walking through here and Frank smiled at me and I automatically smiled back. It's something that is an act of kindness that we give back into the world again. And sometimes we don't give it back to the person from which it came, we pass it on to somebody else. So we pay it forward into the world, making the world a world that works better for all. We never know how those simple acts of kindness will manifest in the world around us. So here's a great story. Grandpa went out and got the mail in the mailbox. He came back in the house, and Grandma says, is there anything in the mailbox? Grandpa says, just a couple notes. Grandma says, who are they from? And Grandpa says, well, one is from our neighbors, the Wilsons. It says, there was no one at home, so I left her gift in the mailbox. Grandma said, oh, that's nice. Who's the other one from? Grandpa said, our mailman. He says, thanks for the fudge.
That's a funny one.
That's a funny one. So, how about gratitude for all the times that something was flowing through you, you never even saw it or touched it, but it was flowing through you because you were an open, receptive vessel for goodness to flow. That probably happens a lot more. Do you ever have those moments where you feel like, ooh, something good just happened? Don't know what it is, don't even need to know what it is. Good and more good. When David was talking about the list of ideas that he came up with, I thought about when he talked about the coin on the ground. I thought about how many times in my life I've looked and gone, oh, it's just a penny. Maybe you've done that too, maybe not. Maybe you're going, shame on me. We have a penny jar at home. It doesn't matter if it's just a penny. It's good that's flowing through you, that in the moments that I said, oh, it's just a penny and walked on by, I wasn't recognizing my good. I wasn't saying thank you. Thank you for this good. Wow, it's a penny. And is it heads up or tails up too, right? So what gratitude does is help us to shift our focus. We shift our focus from whatever we're thinking about into having an optimistic outlook on life, on that which is coming into us, so that we attract more good. It helps us unlock our potential, because at the base root of who and what we already know that we are tapped into the ultimate source of all abundance, all good, all gratitude. But for us in our human state, we must unlock our potential through the way that we think, so that we can open doors to new opportunities that we maybe hadn't even thought about previously. But the universe holds great things in store for each and every one of us. Ernest Holmes wrote, when we foster an attitude of gratitude, we shift our focus from what is lacking to what we already have. We shift from scarcity to abundance. So focusing on what we have is a great practice. I know that an example that is probably meaningful for all of us, and some of you have already played with this before, I'm sure of it, is those moments when a large bill comes. And when you first see that large bill come in, sometimes it's instinct to say, oh no, how am I ever going to pay this? Well, we each have to come up with what works for us, but in that, oh no, how can I ever pay this? We have negated, even if we've spent our entire day thinking and feeling grateful, and then the bill comes in and we go, oh no. We've negated all of that, because the way the law works, it goes with our flow, and if our flow is going like this, then that's what we're getting. That's what's showing up around us. So if we want to shift our thought from scarcity to abundance, we have to find a new way, a new opportunity within our own mind for how we can phrase it differently, how we can live it differently. When that big bill comes in, mine is to say, I am so grateful. Well, I'll just use one in my life right now. My home insurance is due. And it's very, very easy for me to look at that bill and to say, I am so grateful for my home. My home is where my family comes and we laugh together and we love together. My home is where David and I enjoy quiet moments. I love my home. It's beautiful. I love all the little lights we put on at night and the candles and the signs that we have around reminding us to love well. And so instead of going, oh, I can simply say, yes, thank you. Thank you that because I am paying this bill, I have this beautiful home. And so we each have to find our way. I have a friend who uses this one, which is a little bit more, for me, on the funny side, but it might work for you. It works well for her, I can tell you that. And she says, I'm excited to see how the universe pays this. And that is perfect also, because the universe is back of us. It is not you paying that bill, whether it's great or small. That great or small is only in our own minds if we choose to hold that thought. The universe doesn't care if it's that one penny or if it's thousands of dollars. Gratitude and shifting our attention to holding that gratitude.
Yeah, so saying thank you is not necessarily saying thank you to God or thank you to the universe, or thank you to someone else. It's expressing a feeling of gratitude. It's expressing an inner feeling, and it's developing a relationship with self in which you are recognizing the good in your life. I posted this saying on social media this week. It says, your primary, most intimate relationship is with self. Make it a priority. Bolster it as much as you possibly can. Be thankful for it. Recognize I am thankful for the wisdom that I have and the good that I have. Eric Butterworth says, will God be disturbed if you not return thanks? Will God say to you, such an ingrate? The fact is, it doesn't make any difference to God whether you give thanks or not, but it makes a lot of difference to you. God is too universal to be dependent on your thanksgiving. Meister Eckhart probably shocked his colleagues in medieval times when he said, I never give thanks to God for loving me because he can't help himself whether he would or not. It is his nature to do so. Gratitude is not for God. You are not obligated to thank God. However, giving thanks is an important state of your consciousness that keeps you in an awareness of oneness with divine flow.
So each of us has the opportunity in every moment to survey the contents of our own lives, to see those things which we are grateful for, and also to see those things that we resist and desire to be different. So in every moment, we have the opportunity to be grateful. There is no other moment. We can think about the past, we can think about the future, but we aren't in either of those. We are in this now moment. In his book, Falling in Love with Where You Are, Jeff Foster asked the question, what happens when the ground beneath your feet gives way? We've all had those moments. It's a part of being human. We've all had those moments where we felt like everything just fell out from underneath us. His answer is, only your dream or plan is crumbling. Life is not. How true is that? What is our attention on? Our dreams and our plans about life or about an idea or about a situation or about a person can crumble. But life itself cannot. So if our attention is on gratitude for that, then we are in a good place. I think that all too often we tend to skip over the treasures that are found in the moment by not living in the moment. We're spending time waiting for the pursuit of tomorrow's imagined reward. And it's only imagined. We don't know what's going to show up tomorrow, but we can help it along by what we're thinking. In those times, we're waiting for what we perceive to be real life to show up. And the truth is, real life is now. Real life is occurring in this moment. Don't let it pass by. Simply radiate gratitude right now from your being. Because whatever you radiate reflects back to you. It's a mirror, and it's showing up to show us what we are thinking. So what are you thinking? What's showing up? Try this. How attentive to your breathing are you right now? And I bet a lot of us just took a little breath, and our body relaxed even more than it already was. Because bringing our attention to the breath reminds us to be in this now moment. And from that seat, we can then experience Thanksgiving and revel in the activities that our personal life has in gratitude. We're going to conclude today with a quote from Ernest Holmes, which summarizes this entire talk. Didn't find it till after we were done, And I thought, wow, that Ernest Holmes is a smart fellow, isn't he? This is his quote. When we speak the words of thanksgiving to the God within, knowing before they ask, will I answer? There is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith and acceptance, receptivity and realization. Appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving are the motive powers which attract and magnify the hidden potentialities of life. Enjoy.